All right, let's see if we can drag for some pennies. Get that minimized. Don't know why my camera's on. I'm not going to show my face on this video. Let's get to work. Drag my tab over. Currently watching my normal grid. I've got a couple pennies up here already. Well, one penny up here already. Let's change this to standard candles because we're going to be looking for setups here. And I'm going to drag this tab over like so. And we're going to go and refresh this. Hopefully I'm still sharing my screen in the Discord channel. I think I am. There we are. Okay, good deal. All right. So at this point, I don't have a whole lot of screen space, so I'm just going to go ahead and type these out, and then I'll just dig up the tickers one at a time. So we're going to refresh this. I'm on allpennystocks.com, and I've got it tuned for looking at just penny stocks on the NASDAQ. I find that NASDAQ penny stocks trade pretty smooth. I certainly won't trade OTC. It's just a policy of mine. I don't like it. And I like having stuff that has volume and movement and price action above all, but I also like to look for basically quarters and dimes. I want to look for stuff trading less than 25 cents because I like to make quick percentage scalps. OTIC is already on here. We've already got that in our list. MULN, not sure the setup's great on that, but I'm going to type it on my list here anyway because I'm going to look at the chart. COSM, we've already traded the crap out of that thing. That thing's retreating. CRBP. Did I trade that?
Are you paying for this or is it free?
Oh, it came through a little muffled there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm working. Is that free or do you have to pay for it?
This website is free. Yeah, I'm going to pop a link up into the chat as well. You can feel free to take that with you and dig away. CRBP is on my list, but it's old. I haven't traded it in forever. I'm going to look at it anyway. CRBP. Okay, next. WISA. I looked at it before. I'm going to look at it again. Why not? I like to have examples of what to look for to not trade. KAL, we've already beaten that one to death. It may bounce back, but for now, we're done with it. COMS, we'll sit that on the side burner until it touches back to 8 cents again, maybe even 6 cents. Let's see, HLBC has already been on the list. We've already scalped that. SoFi.
Are you looking for a certain percentage gain or are you just looking at them?
Looking at, basically I'm focusing on stocks under 25 cents. And I'm going to go and write down a list of stocks to look at. And then I'm going to go look at the charts. And if the chart tells me there's a good setup with range that we can trade and take advantage of, we'll put it on the list. And if the chart looks like crap, we'll just ignore it. NUWE. That one sounds familiar. I'll put it in there anyway. And the expectation is, like, we can make a list of like 10 or 20 of these damn things, and maybe only 1 or 2 of them might hit. Earlier in the week, I had a list of, 5 or 6 of them, and all of them hit. That's pretty rare. So we will take a look at a bunch of them, though. SINT we're already watching and messing with. Wish, I hate that one. I'm not going to look at it, although it did make an 11.5%. This is not current price, by the way. This is yesterday's closing. Top ships, blah. Don't even mess with it. VGFC I've already got on the book. Kind of rolled up. It made some good range. It was a good trade, but it's over with. XELA is one I haven't traded in a while. I've been watching that one. Let me put that on there anyway. Let's see here. There's one at 24. TCDA, I think I had that on the list already. Yep. Take another look. What else we got? IDEX. Don't have that on the list. Haven't traded that in forever. TRKA. It's another one that sounds familiar. I might have traded that a while back. And typically these like therapeutics and biomedical stuff, sometimes they're great to trade, sometimes they're garbage. We know just by looking at the chart. We don't even give a damn what else is about these companies. They're penny stocks for a reason. They're not very successful companies. That doesn't mean they don't have price action that we can't scalp. CORZ. And I will record this and put this up on our YouTube channel for our private members as well. CFRX, that's a new one. Let's see here. REED. PBTS. Yeah, I've traded that before. And I know a lot of people who've been burned trading these sub 25 cent, sub dime stocks. We know how to avoid getting burned. All right, let's minimize that. Let's start digging. You know what? Let's go full screen on this one. And we're going to start with a 2-hour chart. And we'll just start with the first one in the list, MULN. It's holding down shift for some reason. That chart does not look too great on a 2-hour. However, we got to pen it. Dissect this a little more. Fairly flat, long descending trend. We've hit the bottom twice on this thing, right around 20 cents. Okay, it's worth a look. Pennant taking shape now with range to 22 cents. That's almost worth a trade. Where are we looking for control? Let's look at control. And we can certainly draw on all these charts because we can have information for later. 23 cents, this bar. That's your control point right there. And we can give it one more extension right up to the next control bar right here. Almost 24 cents. It wicked there today and slightly beyond there today. In the history, it's been there before. It's done stuff like that many times over. We're looking at a 1 hour 200 period. $15-minute, that pennant looks very sweet. Let's start marking control on the 15-minute pennant. This might be a good quick day trade into closing.
Sorry, just go back. What are we doing?
Trolling for pennies. We're drawing on a chart already because the first one we had on our list. And I went to that website and just drug up a list of everything under 25 cents that we can look at.
Okay, Sint, right? The red line has crossed the blue line, so my 9 is over my 20.
Sweet.
It's also crossed my fast average. They both have, and there's half a candlestick above it. So that's my and it's trending at the bottom of a range. Those are my 3 criteria. So I'm going to get into this trade.
Sweet. We'll get back to that one once we're done trolling for pennies. I bet you that.
Say it again, sorry.
We'll get right back to that chart when we're done trolling this. So we're looking through a list and checking charts on. Let's see, I've got like 10 penny stocks to look at real quick, and we're just kind of going through it and breaking it down. So MULN definitely has room to run in this range. There's a control candle right here. We looked at this range on the 15-minute chart. This was all one bar, but we got the control zone by looking at the pennant currently. We know exactly where that control zone is on a 15-minute chart without even having to look here. All right, it's just now starting to break this pennant. And this is where our angular is going to come in on the 5-minute chart. Yikes, I don't know what is going on with my drawings there. That doesn't look right. What the deuce?
I've got the exact same one. I think it's trended sideways in the last day.
Let me try that again. It's not letting me change the angle of the damn line. What the heck is going on here? That's frustrating. Alright, whatever. We know where there's an angular resistance here, and it's broken it. It's setting up on top of the 20 period. This is looking like it can break out. Let's just set the control levels in this thing and call it good for now. Having difficulties with my drawing tool.
And the fast moving average is above the slow moving average, and it's half a candlestick above, so I'm going to get into this trade.
There you go. Looking at MULN.
Yeah, MULN.
That looks really nice.
And I'm going to sit here and watch it for minutes, not hours.
Two targets. We've got a breakout above 22 cents will take us to a target 22.8 and up to 24. I would say a good trade is already going to be just a penny, about 23.28 cents right there in that control range.
Okay, I've got 22 point something. I've only got, I can't get down to that level of decimal points on my chart. Hold on, I'll have to move to my 10-second and lose you.
Gotcha, no big deal. And let's see here. There is a 50% line of this control bar from the 2-hour chart as well that we've got to break in order to continue on. So mark those, know where they're at.
What levels were those, sorry?
So on a 2-hour chart, I always look back and I figure about half of that control bar. And that's where that pivot is going to be important. It's got to break the 50%. The actual 50% is the blue line right here, but I'm running, if it breaks above that blue line, which it has already just now, and this is going to be the critical point where we can trust a breakout. It's just essentially 50% retracement is right here on that.
What is 50% retracement? It's 50% of that big red candle, isn't it?
Yep. So on your 2-hour chart, it's half of this candle right here, right in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
It's significant because a lot of people trade by they use that Fibonacci, and it's kind of interesting how everybody agrees on 50% being a confirmation of a breakout. Whether you're
okay.
No matter what style you're using to analyze a chart, it seems to be an agreed upon point. So this one's looking good right now. I should have been able to put this on the list this morning.
It was all already in my list of about 15 penny stocks.
Gotcha. So you made a list too, and you probably went through the same protocols.
Yeah, I've got my list.
That is good. Okay, well this is one. Let's start looking at the next one. And if you guys want to watch this while I'm setting this up, it's fine. I'm just going to build this video to show you guys how and what to look for while you're building your list is the primary
I'll
function
shut up
here.
now.
But that's definitely a day trade happening right there. All right, let's have a look at the next one. CRBP. That's a bottom fish, man. Look at that thing. It's already had a pop here. So this is just residual on that list. That's already had a little bit below 50% retracement of the whole move here. It might be done with. This might just give us a quick scalp for like a penny or two. That's about all we can expect out of that. Yeah, I'm going to skip this one. WISA. Now that's a gap. Let's have a look. Yikes. Bearish AF, but we're looking for a gap retracement. We don't have to hold this thing for weeks. And oh my gosh, I wouldn't hold it for weeks if I got paid to. So we're looking at the completion of a bearish measured move here, and it's bounced off the floor. Now it's coming up for a retrace. This could be potentially a good trade. Let's have a look. I think I want to set up that gap fill on a 15-minute chart. That looks like the thing to do. Reason why is it looks the same for the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 1 hour, the 30-minute. All looks the same for this gap. About 12 cents is your breakout point. Should we mark that? Full target be up here to 16.5 pennies. And let's see if we can find some levels in between on the 5-minute chart. No, there are none. Just a gap. Okay. Looking further left, there's no history in this range. So the primary likelihood of this thing to move anywhere near bullish is going to be for at least a retracement of about half of that gap. And it puts us about 14 cents. If I can drag that a little closer. Target 1 and, or sorry, target 2. Literally a two penny trade. So if we break this resistance here, and this has already been here on the open, it came up to it in the pre-market. It walked up to 12.44 cents in the pre-market for the high. Consider that the same way you look at a Globex high on futures or SPY. And let's make that our green line because we know it has to get above this and that in order to achieve this and that. Right now we're looking a little bullish. It's retracing. It rejected that key resistance here once. This may need some more time to set up, but this could set up for a good power hour play. So that's 2 stocks that we've looked at out of our list so far that make the grade. We'll start putting those in a separate list. And WISA. All right. That might give us a good power hour play, so we'll keep an eye on that one. All right, next. NUWE. That might be done with already. Let's have a look. Yeah, it just crashed into the daily 20 period. I think this one might fail on us. We'll take a quick look tighter and see if we've got any range left in this thing. And it's closing at the top of this 2-hour bar already. There is potential to run back to 16 cents on this one, but it's half a penny. Is it worth looking? Maybe if it makes a whole penny, but I'll put that on the list. There's probably better stuff to trade than that one. Let's move on. XELA. Oh, let's see here. Flat for a long time. This was a short squeeze. Basically all these people that went short in this mess covered right there and chased it. It already met 50% of its previous bear trend. Sorry, I had to interact with a teenager for a moment. Okay. Descending channel. Good Lord, it just retraced some price points in here. So this thing's probably still bearish, but it's worth reserving on a list for a later date, perhaps. Yeah, that's low volume and flatter than a pancake. Look at this. This is ticky-tack on a 5-minute chart. We'll come back to this later. We'll keep it on a list, but not this list. Next, TCDA. All right, more ticky-tack on the 5-minute chart, but let's see if it's got any sort of action. Oh, look at that beautiful gap. Holy smokes. That must have been some really bad news, y'all. Good grief. I think I looked at this before. But that was
I
traded.
just pulled out of a trade by accident by clicking on the ticker symbol. How does that happen? Oh well. Okay. I've still made a profit. No drama.
It ended up buying it when you clicked on a ticker symbol?
No, I ended up selling it when I clicked on my list. The ticker symbol in my watch list. So that's weird.
That is
Okay.
weird. But hey, made a profit.
No, all right, whatever.
Dude, that is the most massive gap I've seen in a long time. Almost $10 a share to 19 cents at the low, and it's coming back to 24 now. This might be worth watching, guys. This is psycho. Good grief, look at that. Alright, let's find some control zones here. All we got is this doji. I'm going to have to look into the fundamentals on this stock. That is intriguing to be that stinking far down.
Jeremy, I think that's a pharmaceutical company.
Ah, they probably got in some serious trouble or trial failure or something psycho, but chart still tells me it's worth looking at. I have other marks on it from before. I think I've looked at this one before. Yeah, that's where this comes in. 1 hour chart in the range. Best we could hope for is that this trend here has retraced at 50%. Perhaps we get another measured move back to the top and beyond. Definitely keep this on the watch list, but it's not going to happen like overnight. But gosh, I've seen...
Where was that $10 drop, real quick? Because I'm looking up to see if they failed a trial.
Let's see, the date.
October 24th? Yep.
At
That
20...
They failed a phase 3.
Ah, okay. So all that money that's in it is out of it now. What kind of drug?
Kidney disease, I think?
So...
Yeah, kidney disease drug.
Complete fail at phase 3. Still intriguing. Can't say if that's like an overreaction or if it's just everybody left it for ruin. Still got some price action down on the 15-minute level. And there's still potential for a break on that. I'm going to keep watching it, I think. I don't think it'll ever get back to $10, but boy, if it gets back to $1, I'll be just tickled on this thing. Alright, I'm going to add that to my list. TCDA. Okay, next we look at IDEX. Yeah, it's a little bit... It's got range, but it's so slow moving. And you get these candles looking like ticky-tack on a 5-minute chart. It's like you can make trades on there, like 1 or 2 shares at a time, but that's telling me there's so little volume in this thing that it barely does anything. Usually you gotta wait until there's some sort of moment where news comes out or something crazy makes something like this move, but this is more of a stock that might be worth looking at for a swing trade, but not looking at for a day trade, that's for sure. I think we'll keep our eyes off of that one. Too slow. TRKA. Base to measured move. That was this. Accumulate this. Bearish.
Which chart are you using right now? If I may ask.
This is a daily chart. I always start there and I zoom in closer and closer until I find something worth looking at. This thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, like, which software are you using?
Oh, this is a Webull desktop version. Yeah, it's quite nice for a free app with real-time data. You can't beat it.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was using, and I just wanted to, because I haven't seen those volume bars on the side.
Yeah, they just added that like literally this week, and they're useful. I love volume bars. In fact, I can
Is
get
that
rid of
gonna?
I can get rid of these volume bars now because I have those.
Is that in the indicator section?
Yeah, you can go right in to your indicator section, run to indicators, and it's right down here under VP.
Beautiful. Thank you, man.
No problem. Enjoy. All right, so we've got, basing on a 2-hour chart, this has already made a half measured move on a 2-hour chart. Here we're in the base. We could bounce back and retrace this bar. We're inside of it. Target would be about 16 cents, currently trading at about 14. That's worth having. Let's mark a pivot and move in tighter. And one of the big parameters I keep in the back of my mind when I'm looking at stocks that are this stinking cheap is purely percentage. I wonder if it'll let me make an angled line now. Hey, it'll make me manipulate. Cool. See, it's already broken a descending channel. Probably a pretty good shot at hitting that 50% line. Two more pivots. Let's add them. And this price action that you learn on penny stocks, man, it's awesome because it's the same for large caps. I mean, large caps don't move in percentages this much typically, but you still get the same price action setups. The candles still look the same. They bleed red just like everything else. All right, so got a couple of zones of interest in here. We know this is going to be our make it or break it point, so I'm going to mark that as green. Our base support, red. And blue I usually put as I leave them alone because they're major pivots from time, like further out than 30 minutes. Except for this one. This one will be a white because that's going to be a target 1. Target 2 will be the next pivot. Okay, cool. So we've got potential to break 14, run to 15, and a possible extension to 16. That's worth it because you're talking tens of percent. Let's have a look for 15-minute candles. We're setting up for a possible push into power hour. This is our pennant right here. This might be a good closing stock to run pennies, or day traded pennies on. There's an extended angular support here, and there's a pivot within that. Right here, just above the point of control. And we'll mark that green as well, in bold. That's our make it or break it point for an actual breakout of a pennant, or descending. It could just go into a descending channel mode into the close too. It's got enough volume to make almost complete candles on a 1-minute chart. That's positive. 3-minute chart looks pretty smooth. And this one has a potential to be a good multi-day if it can get back to retracing this channel. And ultimately, could see it hit as high as 17.5 cents and be okay with it. That one purple or something. Okay. Cool, so we'll add that one to the list. TRKA. And what's the next one? CORZ. Breaking out of a rounding bottom on a 1-hour chart. Nice gap. This is probably another one of those pharmaceutical companies. Core Scientific. Sweet, I like that gap. Let's mark it. And you may wonder why I always mark the bottom edge of the first control candle before the cliff drop. That is important actually. Did I accidentally drag that there? Oh, here, I'll borrow it. Right at 80 cents is your peak target. Your resistance point's going to be down here about 28.5 cents. That's your range for the daily. 2 hour. This is where we'll start to look for the setup. And we can bump our pivots around, that's fine. If we need to, but I think we're good here. So first breakout, we're looking for above 23.5 cents right there. Down a green. First, we got to get involved with retracing and looking at the 2 hour chart. I don't have any real levels to play with there. Let's go into a 1 hour. Other than the 1 hour 200 period, I don't see any points of control, but right here, if you remember, Stone likes to point out those VWAP bends. 2 hour bends are kind of cool too because they line up with control. Or 200 period, not 2 hour. About 17 cents. Be the green light actually to go on that. So we're going to take this one and make it maybe darker green. I don't know. Something to let us know that there's a difference here. There's a height that we got to break to continue being bullish. And then this is the let's take the trade moment right here for a swing trade or a little bit more than just a day trade. And then we're going to look at the next control zone being our critical breakout point. And it's going to line up right here with these two guys. It's got to break 15 and start getting momentum. Cool. Let's zoom in. It's sitting on 15. Excellent. 8 periods starting to curl. Momentum might converge and diverge here to the pull side. It's looking good. If it passes the test, it'll at least get back up to the previous pennant, which is about 16.6 cents. Can extend to 17. Okay, good news. That follows the criteria of a possible bull trade. CORZ goes on the list. All right, CFRX. That's our next one. Kind of ticky-tacky on a 5-minute chart. Big old gap. This looks like another one of those failed failed the FDA test or failed a trial or something like that. That's exactly what that looks like. Just really bad news. I mean, when you get something that was trading, in dollars and suddenly it's trading in cents, you've got a problem. Not saying you can't retrace that, but it's like not likely. You got all these bullish indicators though. You got prices crossing moving averages. I have these as kind of alerts. Like everything points to a bull move on the daily chart, right? Let's zoom in. It's ticky-tack, so this will be a swing trade more than a day trade. We're building a day trading list, so probably overlook this one. Although if it gets volume, it can be volatile. I would say it's probably safe to put this on a swing trading list, but not necessarily a day trading list. It just doesn't have the oomph. And we might want to look into why it gapped down too. Okay, so next, CFRX, REED. Hell of a bearish trend. We might be looking at a short squeeze setup. Let's have a look. It's already done short squells. Maybe. Let's dig into the 5 minute. It's kind of low volume for my taste. Retail's already chased it. It's got maybe room to fill this little gap on today's chart up to like 11 cents. But dude, it's at 10.9 now. This one might fall on the maybe category. Did just break a channel here. It can potentially reach 12 cents. That'll be a grinder though. If you want to attempt to day trade this, it's not out of the rules of day trade, but it's just barely in them. It's barely got enough volume to really do much. That can go on a swing trade list, I think, for now. Let's see here. And last but not least, PBTS, which I think I have looked at before.
You have, yeah.
Oh yeah, Power Bridge. Heck, I've traded this thing before. I traded this thing back in this mess, 2020. That was a fun one, as I recall. Good lord. That was one hellacious short squeeze. What's the date on that? About February of 2021? It started setting up in January. Okay. Well, look at that. There's some old pivots. That's I'm not even back into the right time frame yet. Okay, hold on. Man, I'm gonna be digging for days on this thing. Wonder if I do this. It's going to take way too long to dig back to that price action, but it was some damn good price action. This thing occasionally has some real big raging breakouts. I've got some dope on it recently. This must have been drawn probably in the beginning of the week. Got a massive gap to fill above 50 cents, but it's going to take some oomph to get it there. Well, 55 cents. I'm going to mark this gap out. And let's go and reset. $52-week low is 12 cents. Our current critical support is about 13. Our cautionary pivot is going to be yesterday's low, or thereabouts, about 13.6. Go time would be a break above 14.5. It's also about where the point of control is on the volume profile. It's got some potential. It's a bit ticky-tacky on the shorter time frames, but that must be a low float. See if I can get float information on my phone here. I'm trying to remember when I looked at this thing last, because these levels I've drawn here are fairly fresh. This might have been like when I went to look through my list that I built this week. I might have looked at this and put some pivots on it. Let's see, 113 million free float share count. Free float market cap is 15.8 million. Reasonable. What's the turnover? 161,000 shares. Average volume 6.6 million. Current volume 2 million. It's a little bit under its average volume. That's why it's all ticky-tacky. Let's see here. Mostly retail traded. I don't think there's any institutions messing with this thing. Not enough of them anyway. And we've got a nice range bar on today's 5-minute chart, come to think of it. This guy right here. Right down to it right now. Day support level right there. This is where your value line is right here. And that's about 13.8 cents. This might set up a bounce right now and maybe reclaim this range. It's not a very big range, but it's something. I guess I can keep this on the watch list for now, because if this does start to get bullish, it's got quite a bit of range if it is, all things considered. Not high on my list, but it's on my list. All right, so PBTS. All right, that concludes our watch list build for a penny stock swing, trading things under 25 cents. And just kind of more or less use this this video, because I'm recording this, I'm going to stick this on our YouTube channel, as a reference to what to look for in a chart when you're scanning for these things. You'll have about 1 million penny stocks pop up on a scanner at any given moment, and it becomes so tedious to go through all of these charts. You've seen how long it took me to go through this list. This isn't even a big list. This is a medium-sized list. But if you're looking for price action setups, over time, you'll get faster and faster at doing this. Practicing it with penny stocks is great, because you can glance at the chart and know if you should even be interested in it or not, right at the glance of a 2-hour and daily chart. Poof, you know what you're looking at. So when you dig into it, smaller time frames, if it is something that catches your interest, dig into the smaller time frames, set up the pivots, and decide for yourself, does it have enough range to meet a good criteria for a day trade? 1. 2, does it have enough volume to sustain trades within that range? And then 3, what does the setup look like currently? Does it look like it can bounce now, today, tomorrow, maybe sometime this week? Kind of things you want to know. Ideally, I like to set these things up on Mondays or Tuesdays, but I'm always pretty busy in the chat here on Mondays and Tuesdays to be doing this stuff. For now, later on, I'm going to try to free up some time to do that. So ideally, you'd rather not do these on like a Thursday afternoon like this, but there's nothing stopping you from looking. The whole purpose of this is I have time to make a video now. We can see where these stocks have been, where they're going, that sort of thing at a glance. We can kind of figure it out. And next week, if we already have these on a list of stuff we've looked at, we know we've got levels for. If we go and we refresh that list on that website and look at the same criteria again, we'll know which ones we've already looked at, and then we can start looking at the new ones first, see if they're tradable, and then we can go through our list of old ones. So then we can shorten the number of stocks to look through. And you go and you find like 2 or 3 that are not on your current list starting Monday, dig in, have a look. take you moments. Do some time to draw on a chart if it catches your attention. If there's something that looks like it can, be a gap close, a gap fill, or an attempt at a retracement of the gap, whatever you're seeing, just at a glance, you're going to know if it's a good setup or not. And get through those, and then go back and look at your other list. You already have all your dope on there, and then you can just use your programming. If this, then that. You can say, okay, well, I decided on this at this time when I drew these that if it got above this pivot, that's where it's likely to go next. And you could decide right then and there, is this worth putting on my watch list for the day or for the week, for that matter? It's really, really, really easy. And when you start with pennies in this price range, the percentage is going to be attractive, going to be very attractive. I mean, average penny stocks that we tended to trade while we were training people were typically over $1, and expected moves were like, 3 or 5 cents, whatever. It's decent, but you start looking at these stocks trading between 10 and 20 cents, and 1 or 2 pennies is 10%, 20%, whatever. That's where the real quick action is, and that's where you're going to have a lot more price action and range to hone your skills for when you're going to start trading into the large caps, mid caps, that sort of stuff. And also it'll help you understand in the later future options movement. You'll be able to assess that risk to reward on those option spreads I've been trading with real quickly and know exactly what to do with them. So it's all building from one step at a time, putting this stuff all together and building this into potentially a trading career where you can do this for a living. This is where it starts. Start with the penny stocks. I know that a lot of seasoned investors shy away from penny stocks. They don't want to even think about looking at them. But trust me, it's more of a learning experience than anything. There are people who make a lot of money trading penny stocks. Don't get me wrong. But don't think that you're beginning your trading career making a lot of money trading penny stocks. This is practice. This is shooting the fish in a barrel to build your skills up to where you can, go out there and catch the big fish. You can go. I don't want to say whale hunting, even shark hunting, but big fish. You're going to go out and start looking at those large caps in a whole new way once you master the price action analysis skills it takes to trade a penny stock. That's about all I got for that. And, it was quite an extensive list. I loved going through it. And for me, I'll still scalp a penny stock. You've watched me do it. Why? I like to practice, and I like to keep my skills sharp. I like to be able to glance at a chart and pick off trades that quick. Every time I do it, it makes me that much better at it. Even though I'm really good at it now, I can always get better. So don't ever forget about them. Keep looking at them. And like I said, even when you get really good at trading, go scalp a penny stock every now and then. If for nothing else, it'll make you feel better. All right, guys, have a wonderful afternoon. I'm going to try and come back at about 3, maybe 3:30. See if I can get some power hour on. And then it looks like the folks over at money.net want to do an after hours thing today. So like probably right at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to try and dual stream that so I can get all of us involved. Probably the thing to do. I don't like leaving my community behind to go do extracurricular activities. So let's do it. We'll see you guys in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tradinator.
I love
That
it.
was awesome.